The N-Deklination or weak declination. The N-Deklination is a phenomenon that only concerns masculine nouns, with one exception that I might mention at the end of the video. And of those, of course, not all, but just certain groups. Let's take a look at an example. If I say I'm in love with a Russian man, yeah, I have to say Ich liebe einen Russen. Well, the basic form of Russian is Russe, ending in an E. But I have put an N here, and I said einen Russen, which means it's one Russian. So it cannot be the plural N, yeah, which is also the plural of Russian. So what is that? Why do I add the N? Well, that's because Russe is a masculine noun ending in an E. You might remember from our very first lesson about the article signals, where there was a magic word for the feminine words. And an E ending very often is a signal for a feminine noun. So those who break the spell, the strong masculine nouns that say, not with us, we want the E, we want to wear a handbag or whatever, or a skirt, then those get an extra N. Yeah, just a little reminder or memory trick. Okay, so another example. Ich liebe einen Chinesen. Ich liebe einen Franzosen, einen Briten, einen Polen. You see, that works with mainly nationalities very well. We could also take the word monkey, Affe. Yeah? Ich liebe einen Affen. So these are the biggest group. There's others, the endings that matter you will find in the course itself, but just to make you familiar with this. There's one thing though. This N ending does not occur in nominative. To illustrate that, one last example. Ein Russe liebt einen Russen. And you see, the first Russe doesn't have that N. That's because it's the subject, which is always in the nominative. And the second one is the object, the accusative, because it is the one that receives the love, yeah, that is at the other end, and therefore it's an accusative object and deserves the N. And this is it. There is two more words you should know, and that is Herr and Nachbar. Herr Schmitz, mein Nachbar, my neighbor. Let's say you want to speak with Mr. Schmitz on the phone and you ask the secretary, ich würde gern mit Herrn Schmitz sprechen. You have to use the Herrn. Or when you write a letter, very common example, you write an Herrn, because it is to Mr. Schmitz, so it is the receiver, it is an object. And with a neighbor, ja, ich habe mit meinem Nachbarn gesprochen. It's one neighbor. Last comparison, if it was the plural. Ich habe mit meinen Nachbarn gesprochen. You see, there is no difference in the word Nachbar, so you cannot really distinguish the plural from the singular anymore, but the meinem is singular and meinen is dative plural. So these are a couple of thoughts on the N-Deklination. Go through the exercises just to make yourself familiar with it, but don't worry too much. You need really just basically those nationalities and Herr and Nachbar. And I promised you that one exception that is not masculine, and that is the word Herz. Das Herz. So, and this only in the dative singular. So, man sieht nur mit dem Herzen gut. Here you have an EN. So you can neglect that. Yeah, it's really almost never used. And that was a quote, I think, from Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. If not, look it up yourself and correct me. Thank you for your attention. Vielen, vielen Dank für deine Aufmerksamkeit und weiterhin viel Vergnügen mit deinem Deutsch.